Well, everyone, I'm sick and tired of doing those voiceovers, so I'm going to start doing them like this now. So as you guys know, I bought the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus the other day, and I've owned the S10 Plus for a while. I've owned like multiple of them, but I just keep reselling them, but now I'm keeping them. I'm not reselling my phones anymore. And I just want to compare them, see what the bigger differences are between them. And I've already done like a size comparison on my second channel. I'll go ahead and drop the full one now. Now, I will be doing separate speed tests and separate camera tests and all that stuff. I'll just briefly hit on them in this video very quickly. I don't want this video being like 40 minutes long. But regardless, we're going to be taking a look at them and seeing what differences there are and all that stuff. Now what I will tell you is that price-wise, and you can probably see the specs in this reflection, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus cost me about, I think like $1,200 or give or take a little bit around that area, including tax and everything. Was about like 12 something, so it wasn't like exactly 1100 or whatever the case is. It was a little bit more expensive than that, but regardless, this is a super expensive phone with super expensive build quality and all that, but it doesn't really feel like that much different from the S10 Plus, so I don't really know what's going on there. But with the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus though, it cost me about, I think like $300 to buy it. Like a couple months ago, I got a really good deal on it. Everything was working and everything. However, right now on Amazon, you can pick one of these up for about $480, which if you look at it between these two, the $1,200 for this or the $480 for this, you are saving so much money by picking up an S10 Plus over the S20 Plus that it's not even funny. A phone like this is super capable. It has a lot going for it. And to be honest, there's really not that many differences between the S10 Plus and the S20 Plus. Now, of course, there are, some major differences. There's some really cool features, but at their core, they're almost exactly the same if I'm being honest. Like, yeah, there's some cool features. Like I said, you're getting, a couple, maybe like a year extra software support and different things like that. But at the core, you're getting pretty much the same exact phone, and they both feel almost exactly the same in the hand as well. I'm trying to change the screen timeout right here. So yeah, that's a little hit on the price tag right there. But of course, if you have all the money in the world, of course, get the S20 Plus. But if you want to save some money, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus might just be the way to go. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go and hit on the panels themselves. The Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus has a 6.7-inch display on the front. It's a dynamic AMOLED display. It is 1440p, which is really, really nice. Where the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus has a 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED display. This one is 6.4 inches. It's also 1440p, and it's a very, very good panel at the end of the day. I really don't have any issues with it. It looks very good. You can see that it's a very good looking panel. If I put them side by side, you can see that the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus is a little bit wider, but the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus is just a little bit longer. So I feel like a phone like this will feel better in the hand just because you're able to hold it maybe like a little bit better. When the S10 Plus is a little bit bulkier, it's not really the end of the world or anything, but that is something to totally consider. If you want to have a bigger phone, in your hand, the S10 Plus I think has the bigger footprint, but the S20 Plus still feels pretty good in the hand. It doesn't feel like it's completely bad or completely long or anything like that. However, the S20 Plus is a little top heavy, so if you're holding it like this, it'll definitely start creeping down because it's much longer. With the S10 Plus, I feel like it just has a better, I can have a better grip on it a little bit, just because it doesn't want to tip over as much in my hand, and I drop my phone all the time. So one of the bigger differences though on the display is that the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus does have the 120Hz refresh rate on that display, which is something that really is so underrated, and I need more people to talk about it. It really just makes the phone feel that much smoother. It doesn't make the phone faster, it doesn't really improve it in any other way, but it does make the phone feel much smoother if you're closing apps, opening apps, doing whatever. It makes the phone feel that much better, and that's something I really do appreciate for the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus, where the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus does not have that capability. Again, it's not the end of the world, but it is a really cool feature, and you're kind of future-proofing yourself there a little bit. So that pretty much covers it up there. On the bottom, they both have USB Type-C ports, but as you can see on the Galaxy S10 Plus, you do have the headphone jack, where on the S20 Plus we don't have that. Some people might care about it, some people might not, but that is something to consider. Another weird thing, on the S10 Plus, the power buttons were on the right side and the volume buttons were on the left side, but now on the S20 Plus, they actually moved those to the same side, which I don't really like. I liked it how they were opposite sides, so you kind of know what you're clicking at the same time. It's not a big deal, but that's something that's like a little gripe. If you're coming from an S10 Plus, that is kind of a little thing to note. On the back, you can see a little bit of a different camera setup. They're both completely different, to be honest. They both really have triple camera setups, but the S20 Plus has an additional depth sensor, which is really nice. Both have wireless charging, both have reverse wireless charging, both have micro SD card slots as well. So at their core, they're pretty similar. There's not a crazy difference between them, but you are getting some really cool advantages on the S20 Plus. You still have IP certification on both phones as well. IP68 does turn water resistance, so you can go up to 1.5 meters of water for 30 minutes. That's really cool. So you have that capability on both phones at the end of the day. So in terms of that really pretty much covers it up. Now hitting on the software, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus started off with Android Pie. We're now on One UI 2, which I still haven't installed on here, but it's not that big of a deal. And we're probably going to get another version of software on top of this, so we're going to get Android 11 on One UI 3 whenever that comes out, but that's really pretty much going to be it. It's not going to get any more versions probably on top of that. These versions, especially the Snapdragon ones, are really hard to root in custom ROMs, so you're pretty much outdated once your software is being done, which is really sad because this hardware is so crazy good. This is like the best feeling phone in the world, right next to the S20 Plus, but this one's going to be outdated fairly soon by the next year time, so that's really sad. With the S20 Plus, it's just getting started with software updates. It's right now on Android 10 on One UI 2, and it's a pretty good experience overall. I've had really nothing but great experiences with it. Yeah, it's not like the best thing in the world. It's not even the best looking version. I mean, I don't really like One UI, to be honest. I think it's really clunky and weird, but they've came a long way since TouchWiz, and this phone is definitely going to outlast the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. That's a huge major thing to consider. So the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus is definitely going to win here, but the S10 Plus is going to be right behind it by a year. So if you're talking longevity, the S20 Plus is definitely the way to go. So that pretty much covers it up in terms of the software. And I'll go ahead and do a little bit of a speed test and everything. I'll go and tell you the specs between them, but again, I'll do a whole dedicated one later on. The Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset, an octa-core CPU, and Adreno 640 GPU, and there's 3 different models of them: the 128 and 512 variant with 8GB of RAM, and the 1TB model with 12GB of RAM. This is the base model with 8GB. With the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipset, an octa-core CPU, and Adreno 650 GPU, and there's 3 different models: the 128, 256, and 512GB models, and they all have 12GB of RAM. So I went and zoomed in a little bit. I didn't want to do a transition effect and all that. I don't want to waste that time. So I'm going to go ahead and loading them up. Of course, the S20 Plus is going to be the faster one for sure. So Play Store, 3, 2, 1. And actually the S10 Plus was faster there. I wasn't expecting that. But as you can see, when you're flying through, you can see how much smoother the Galaxy S20 Plus is over the S10 Plus. And I've said this before, it's like every single time I look at an older phone, it seems to be so much glitchier, and the year it came out last year was so fast. It's really weird. Phone, okay, messages. Yeah, it seems to be much faster on the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus. Okay, that one was a little glitchier, but still on the S20 Plus it was able to load into it faster. Okay, so Temple Run again. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I was stuck in a game in this one. Temple Run is just one of those games that just gives me the most amount of issues. Temple Run for the 50th time. 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go, and probably the S20 Plus is going to be the faster one. And a common thing I keep saying is our games played at 120Hz here, and they're only played at that rate if they are supported with that frame rate. A game like Temple Run, it's not going to run at the 120Hz refresh rate or anything like that. It's usually only for system elements and like Chrome browsers and things like that, not even YouTube videos. However, the YouTube app does support it. Like if you're scrolling through the app, it works, but not for the videos themselves, obviously. You can do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And you can see again, I mean, the S20 Plus is probably, actually the S10, no, the S20 Plus is definitely in the lead. As you can see, I got into that one. And shortly after on the S20 and the S10 Plus. Now I'll go ahead and end it off with Real Racing 3, because I need a bigger game in here. 3, 2, 1. And again, this is a smaller comparison. This is not an end-all be-all. I'll go ahead and eventually do a full-on speed comparison between these. And I guess I won't even be able to do this one because this app needs to be finished downloading. So there was a little minor update that had to happen here, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt a little bit here, but still the S20 Plus would have been faster regardless, and eventually we get into it on the S10 Plus. It's weird that I constantly have these updates coming on back and forth. It's really weird, but overall, yes, the S20 Plus is going to be the faster one without a doubt. So that pretty much covers in the speed comparison. I know it was kind of weird, but I'll do a whole separate one very, very soon. Just keep a locked down on the channel. I swear to God, I'll do it. I usually do them. Now let's go ahead on the cameras. The Samsung, it's funny, you can see the camera in here. The Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus has a triple camera setup. It has a 12 megapixel wide-angle lens, a 12 megapixel telephoto lens, then a 16 megapixel ultra-wide sensor. With the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus has a 12 megapixel wide-angle lens, 64 megapixel telephoto lens, then an additional 12 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, then an extra 0.3 megapixel depth sensor, which is really cool. And between both of them, the Galaxy S10 Plus, I'll start off first, has a very capable camera, 4K 60 frames. It's a very good looking camera. I usually take my S10 Plus with me if I go somewhere, just because if I need an extra camera, I don't want to bring my my Canon with me. I'd rather bring something like this that's still pretty capable. But the S20 Plus is just a little bit better than that. You know, you have a little bit better quality, a little bit better video quality, things like that, additional features. But the main feature is the ability to shoot 8K videos on the S20 Plus, which is a really cool feature. So you have that ability on here, where you don't have that ability on the S10 Plus. However, a really funny and weird thing is that on the S10 Plus, you had a dual camera setup on the front, 10 megapixel wide lens and an 8 megapixel wide lens. On the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus, we only have a 10 megapixel lens, so it's like they will step backwards. But between both, they both have very good camera setups, and one doesn't really blow the other one out of the water. But the ability to shoot 8K videos on the S20 Plus is seriously a very cool feature. So that really pretty much covers it up there. And like I said, full camera test coming out very soon. Now I'll go ahead and end off with the battery life. The Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus had a 4100 mAh battery. The Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus had a 4500 mAh battery. And between them, obviously the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus is going to have the better battery life. But what I will tell you right now is that if you have that 120Hz refresh rate on the S20 Plus, the battery life will see a significant drainage faster than if you just had it stock. So if you had that 120Hz here, which I do have it on and it's a really cool thing, the battery life will probably end up being better on the S10 Plus. But regardless, the battery life on both these phones are still really good. Reverse wireless charging on both phones as well, which is really cool. So between both, the S20 Plus might have the better one, but they're both very close at the end of the day. So that really pretty much covers it. And to kind of answer the question, dude, should you pick up an S10 Plus? Should you keep it? Should you go for the S20 Plus? I'll tell you, if you have an S10 Plus, 100% keep it. You're not missing out on anything at all, really. I mean, in some ways, it's probably even a downgrade. And I can't really think of why it's a downgrade, but S10 Plus is still a tremendous phone. There's so much going for it. The S20 Plus is still a very good phone as well. Obviously, it's like the best phone in the market, but you're getting some really cool things. And, if you have the money, go for it. But if you have an S10 Plus, I would recommend keeping it. And if you don't have one, if you have a phone that's even cheaper than these ones, I would recommend picking up a Galaxy S10 Plus. This is a very good phone. It's so cheap. You're going to see less depreciation in a year from this phone than this phone. This one's probably going to be like half the price within like 5-6 months from now. The S10 Plus, though, would cost about whatever, like $480. So I would recommend picking the S10 Plus up if you have neither of these phones. But if you have the S10 Plus, keep it. Or if you want to get the S20 Plus, you can do it there. It doesn't matter. So that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that would mean so much. But definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. So it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.